So I'm excited to have a very eclectic guest on here. And the hope is that I have more people like Carrie Simmons. She's a pop star and a clinician. And we were talking off line a bit about being in the music industry, seeing some of the personality adaptations and personality disorders, dealing with fame, right? And then also being someone who is trauma informed and understands how powerful the subconscious is. So, welcome to Don't Follow the Shepherd. I'm so honored to have you here. It must be fascinating to have navigated through both spaces. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you came to where you are?
Sure. Well, I was experiencing some traumatic stuff when I was little, and my coping strategies were turning to drugs and alcohol in my adolescence. And I really was searching for a sense of belonging and acceptance. And I think that my own personal struggles made me a stronger human being. And at the ripe age of 34, I went to my first AA meeting and decided that, okay, I like this program. It gives me structure and a blueprint for my life. And I stayed. So I have 17 years of sobriety. And the mental, well, I guess what I learned from them is to really be of service and to give back to um, what I can add to the stream of life. So throughout my own healing journey, I've gained a lot of knowledge. I went back to school and got my master's in clinical psychology. I just completed an EMDR training. But just because I am educated and I'm kind of by the book, it doesn't mean that I have to stop my creativity. And being from the East Coast growing up, I was always influenced by all sorts of eclectic music and different genres. My dad loved jazz, my mom loved country. And so I always had music in me. And I started healing through writing different raps. And as soon as I did that, I formed a band and then I started dancing. And so now it's like I feel that the movement, dance and performance, and also I'm a trained yoga teacher. If I had not gotten into the body and the healing of my, issues are in your tissues, they say, then I would be stuck. And since I'm on this healing journey of creativity and giving back, I just wanted to share that I have a message, and my music is actually a very powerful medium to help others achieve their highest potential. And in my lyrics, it's all about, how you can recover and stay sober and still be happy, joyous, and free.
Beautiful. Art therapy, as you know, and music therapy are designated disciplines. And yet, in many ways, people embrace them without formally knowing it, right? Like music is therapy every day. Um, EMDR, done it myself, still do it occasionally. Uh, and you know, I think that in Hollywood, in particular, there are a lot of struggling souls, and it's beautiful that you have an opportunity to connect with these people and help them from that perspective. Because if I've ever had a criticism of psychotherapy, whether it's psychoanalysis or cognitive behavioral therapy or dialectical behavior therapy, another cognitive therapy, is that I used to sometimes think, well, if you're sitting on the couch and you're talking to someone who doesn't have the lived experience of being in a big corporate organization or a cutthroat nonprofit or working in government, like certainly they can treat the symptoms and help you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're trained to do. But there is something to be said, something said for having that lived experience, which is so important as a movement of lived experience practitioners, right?
Absolutely. Oh, I love that you know that. It's experience. Absolutely. That.
Um,
Mhm.
you know, but it does occur to me that music is therapy for everybody, and yet the fact that you can kind of embrace it in a more formal way is powerful stuff, particularly living here in Hollywood.
Mhm.
Um, before we started recording, we were talking about some of these famous people. Do
Mhm.
you want to share a little more about like I love what you said about Taylor Swift and her lyrics, and it's fascinating.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I were to diagnose a lot of these rock stars, I mean, they really have this addiction that's within them. They're addicted to, like Taylor Swift, she's addicted to processing her relationship traumas through songwriting. And that's a very healthy, adaptive coping outlet for her. And I honor that. She's turned her pain into prosperity. And it's very important that we all learn how to do that. It might not be songwriting, but it could be another um, medium like acting. And then there are the unfortunates too that have been able to turn their pain into prosperity, like Tom Petty, but he got addicted to opioids along the way. And, you know, it's just awful that we as artists are so vulnerable and susceptible to things that come in that's you kind of it's so insidious, this disease of addiction. And I said earlier, you can be addicted to anything. You can get addicted to anger, you can be addicted to, you know, shopping, you can be addicted to I forget what else I said, but you know, you want to have like a good obsession if that's possible. And if you just look at the music industry, look at Prince, look at Michael Jackson. I mean, with the trauma element, you have to make sure you trust whoever you're surrounding yourself with, and even trusting these people in your camp. They have to make sure that they're on board with a standard of care and not be in like, oh, well, they're a celebrity, so you know, it's going to be a substandard of care, which Dr. Drew will talk about all day long. It infuriates him to get, you know, if there's a celebrity that gets privilege above a regular person who's in need. And the entitlement is real. And we just have to treat every human being the same when it comes to a clinical diagnosis and treatment. And
Britney
hopefully,
Spears is a great example, right?
oh, yes, absolutely. And look at just what's happening to Justin Bieber right now. They get so caught up in this world that it's their own reality and they don't know, or I mean, I'm not even sure what's happening with Justin, but you know, it comes back down to childhood, you know, issues. Maybe his father never approved of him. Maybe they don't have an inner world that is one of peace and harmony, and they just need to find their own truth. And hopefully, whatever they're going through, they can come out the other side stronger with, you know, a clear understanding of how to just move through our society or in Hollywood with more kindness and strength.
Yeah. You know, the other thing is that we talked a bit about social media and the impact of being scrutinized all day long, 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Choosing sometimes to even become your own publicist because you have access and you might react to something, and then the consequence of that, like the
Yeah.
you know was once reading a book about by a clinician about fame and the pathologies associated with it, and the lifespan of public figures. When you really look at the lifespan of public figures, they're cut short. I'm not sure everyone wants to go in and be famous. I mean, even today, you know, the kids who are being cast in TV programs and on film, child actors, there's still the stage parent problem where the parent might be living vicariously through the kid. The kid is being pushed to do things, but now they're also on social media, even though they're managed by their parents on those accounts. It's just, it becomes challenging. You really need a healthy foundation to be able to go into this business. The other thing I was going to say was that as far as uh, some of these public figures, I forgot what I was going to say. Actually, it'll pop back. And why does this happen to me while I'm performing on a podcast? But anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
You were talking about the scrutiny and maybe external validation.
Yeah, but I was gonna say something about how it was something linked to the social media. It'll
Mm.
come back to me,
Okay.
but I you know, I'm fascinated how you can bring this perspective. And as I said, you critiquing these public figures, which is fodder for all kinds of magazines and
Mm.
tabloids and stuff. It's actually great to have someone, because everyone's giving their opinion on someone on social platforms, which is unhealthy in its own right, right? They're
Yeah.
comparing people to celebrities, they're comparing celebrities to the people, they're making their own clinical diagnoses. They can't really breach the Goldwater rule because they're not clinicians, but it's not healthy in our society, unfortunately.
Right. And you have to differentiate the difference between just like that highlight reel and what a human being really experiences. And the experience, like we talked about, is so important. Like, experience is our greatest teacher. And we have to cultivate this new paradigm that it's all about compassion and having, like, actually looking within and choosing peace and choosing joy and choosing happiness within our own souls, because our souls are here for a purpose. We have to learn the lesson. Some are very difficult lessons to get and they'll repeat over and over again, and then some lessons we get right away. But to really go into the soul's evolution and understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, including if you're, world famous, or if you're a humble farmer living in, the Midwest or wherever. And you just have to learn how to take care and love it's all about self-love, self-respect, and internal peace, internal validation, internal approval, internal acceptance. And people get addicted to validation, and people get addicted to what you think about me. And really, at the end of the day, it's what I think about me, how I feel. And we have to really educate others who are struggling with this external narrative that it is, it doesn't matter what other people think, right? It doesn't really matter. Just do what you love and be true to yourself. That's what sells.
Are there good examples, or can you think of examples where a public figure or a musician in particular was on a psycho-spiritual journey, if you will, and even though they were showcasing it to the public, they were really benefiting from it? I mean, can you think of some examples of people who have really evolved and transformed, or are those too rare?
No, I mean, listen, I feel Madonna, growing up with her, she was always about soul searching. Her mother died when she was so young, and then she just had no boundaries, no limits, and she just pushed herself to the utmost, the highest potential that she possibly could. And then she lands like studying the Kabbalah, and she has this awakening, and like, just to see her spirituality come through, and it might be conscious or unconscious, but I got to watch that. I got to witness her, and that was like magical. And then currently, like someone like Lady Gaga, who has had several traumatic experiences and catastrophic crises in her life that she actually, went on the Oprah. I think it was like some Soul Sunday or thing that Oprah was interviewing her, and she was on all this pain medication for her fibromyalgia because she had, all this chronic body pain. And, she shared about that. I don't know if she capitalized on it, but now you turn on any kind of reality show and everyone's in therapy. Everyone's talking about their trauma. Look at like the Kardashians. They're all, I mean, the family system is living proof that it's passed down generationally. So it's really scary to like face your fears and overcome them. Most families just sweep stuff under the rug and accept it, and that's called homeostasis. So to really come out, like when I came out to California and to like seek my own truth, that takes a lot of guts. And even my mom said, Carrie, you're so gutsy. And I am, because it takes a lot of courage to get up on stage and bare your soul and sing your heart out and not care. I mean, you want to sound good, but you don't want to like let the audience and the critics control the narrative. You want to do it because you love to do it. And that's what I say. It's like passion and purpose should walk hand in hand, and you do it because you love to do it. And until it stops being fun, oh shoot, I have an incoming call. Um, Hold on. Until it stops being fun, I think that's the golden rule. It has to be fun, you know?
Yeah,
So,
something you mentioned about family systems. People are also, of course, judgmental of families, right? But they don't understand dysfunctional family systems. They don't understand the
right.
role of the golden child or the scapegoat in narcissistic family systems or in alcoholic family systems. But they're quick to judge. And, it's so funny. So much of this stuff would be so valuable. People, as you know, don't learn this in school, but we're quick to judge. And then we see people being scapegoated in organizations. That's kind of a new thing that's being talked about in the organizational psychology realm, right? Like
Oh,
there's
yeah.
there's all this trauma informed stuff that can be helpful, and at the same time, some people become skeptical because there are those sharing it on social media and they don't know that, well, even though they're maybe making it public doesn't mean it is any less true. This is stuff that can help people. I wanted to ask you, I saw a book the other day in the library of a clinician, a psychologist who very much embraces astrology. What are your thoughts on astrology?
Hmm. Well, I'm a Pisces and I got a nice tattoo right here of two fish swimming in opposite directions. I definitely feel like it is a lot of truth behind the different signs and your rising and the date, the time that you are born. It's really fascinating for me. I think if it helps, great. If it's positive, great. I completely support whatever helps another person, makes them feel good, and gives them a sense of belonging and understanding. Um, However, I believe, I mean, this might be, it's so controversial right now, but since I got, really sober, I got saved and born again. And I did a whole baptism and I just wanted to like start fresh and new. So, I mean, if that helps people, great. And I just am very encouraging of do what works.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of doing a deep dive, and you may know that I have another podcast that just launched, and I actually would love
Mhm.
to have you on it, where we talk about Scorpios. And, as a scientist, I was always led to be skeptical of astrology as a pseudoscience. But the truth of the matter is that, like you just said, there was a peer-reviewed publication of this past year that looked at the health benefits of being an enthusiast in the astrological space, if you will.
Mhm.
Like you
Yeah.
said, I mean, people rely on religion, which can't even be tested in kind of a scientific way, whether astrology is pseudoscience or not.
Mhm.
It's a $22 billion industry and it's helping people
Right.
because it's positive psychology,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Yes.
so maybe I should get a Scorpio tattoo. I don't have any, but
Yeah. Let me tell you, my tattoo made me a lot of money. Just saying.
Well, let's talk a bit about your music. You have I'm going to come to this show you have coming up in August. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in your life on the stage.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, all the world's a stage, and we are the players. And I have a starring role as the lead singer of my EDM music. It's like dance, hip hop, and pop. And I write all the lyrics, and I've worked with several different producers. I love working with producers. It's all like techno, dance music, so it really gets you bopping and just like, oh, it's such a good vibe. So, oh my gosh, I'm very popular today. Hold on one second. Um, I have to send a voicemail. Okay. And I think that music is the panacea for so many things. It's such a healer because it gives you a voice. So the whole reason I am a musician and a singer is because it's very important for me to have a voice, to develop my voice, to reach my highest potential with this voice that God gave me. And I think that my look, my image, it's like really a very special, diverse kind of fashion because it's for adolescents. It's an all ages show at the Whisky A Go Go on a Friday night. And um, it's music with a message, honestly, and it's very therapeutic. So I'm going to be rapping about how to heal your inner child, how to have your rights. What are your Bill of Rights? I just wrote a song called Goddess Rights. Not God is right, but like you're a goddess, not you, but like females are goddesses. And we have rights to say no. We have a right to say stop, and we have a right to say go. And it's just so important that I can inspire and be of service and put myself out there and give hope and give inspiration to a generation that needs positive role models that sing about having so much fun without doing drugs, without drinking alcohol, and just telling them that it's okay to be yourself and it's okay to believe in whatever it is that you want to believe in. And it's okay to, have a narrative that is personally yours, whatever it is, because you're worth it. So I just want to pour into these kids that give them some self-esteem to say, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. And it's almost like a role model type of situation because I know that, you know, I'm not, I mean, I'm not Ariana Grande, okay? And I'm not Britney Spears, but I do have a very powerful message to share with others, and music is the best outlet for me.
Is it exhilarating for you every time you get on stage? I mean, I'm always fascinated to get in the head of a musician who, these performers, because I always thought that the reason some of these rock stars and these musicians keep doing it is they just love it. They
Oh,
love getting on stage, right?
oh my gosh, it is like the highest of the high. Just before our call, I was like singing. I have a little microphone and a studio set up here and singing to the background of the, instrumental. It's the most exhilarating feeling to sing your own songs and to create and to have like that, to be inspired yourself and to feel your own spirit coming to life and being on stage in front of everyone that sings back your songs. And it's just awesome. It makes me feel so alive, and life is so worth living when you just have this incredible joy. And that's what I love to do. I love to be on stage with a mic in my hand. And that is what my dad said to me years ago. He's like, Carrie, do what you love. Find out what is it that you love to do, and then try to make money doing it. And yeah.
And do you find engaging with fans just also very rewarding? I mean, that must be dreamy, right?
It is a dream. It's all about living the dream. I mean, it's life is but a dream, and these kids, I mean, I see them and I'm like, oh my, I see their, dreads and their pink hair and their, transgender, and they're all sorts of they're in the alternative universe. They are not normal, like, prep collegiate kids. I mean, they are funky and punky, and my heart is with them. And I will say on stage, like, I'm a therapist. I love you guys. I'm one of you. This is like Lady Gaga's Little Monsters. I mean, I have to come up with little fan names. I don't know. I'm going to call them the Care Bears or something, I think, because they're so sensitive and they're so special. And the last time I remember getting off stage, they all wanted like selfies with me. And it's just like the sweetest thing.
So I could imagine beautiful moments where you get on stage and maybe you do or don't do this, but you're like, I'm a therapist and my music is a message. And
Yeah.
like you talk about that a little bit because that's
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Because all my songs, like I have a song called Drop It, and it's all about my PTSD, how I healed my trauma through, prayer, meditation, through letting it go, through trusting a higher power. And like, I really connect with each and every person that has ever supported me. It's a connection. It's a scene. That's the whole thing. I grew up in a scene of like hardcore, being from outside of DC. I would go into DC, and as an adolescent, I was like, I felt a part of at these shows. But the shows that I would go see were like all kind of like stage diving and moshing, and it was really, really cool. And I want to give that experience to these kids too, like for them to be a part of, to have a scene, on Sunset Strip. It's so rewarding. It's,
well,
it's just incredible. Yeah.
the dichotomy sounds really interesting because as a therapist, you sit and listen so much. That's your job.
Mhm.
And then you get a chance to, like, this is a beautiful dichotomy. You get a chance to be on stage. Like, it seems like it's very healing, right? Like, not every, because therapists need to go to therapy themselves just to
Oh,
deal
yeah.
with their own, right? So
Yeah.
you have this outlet that is just such an interesting dichotomy.
And it's very special because I remember going through school and like studying all the stuff, and I'm like, do I have to not be creative? Like, I didn't want to like suppress like my voice and who I was, but I had certain clinical directors encourage me, no, you have a voice. But it was a very tricky boundary to master, and I'm still mastering and straddling the differences between arts and science. It's quite extraordinary. And I will say this one last thing is, when I was working in Malibu at one of the rehabs, I was working with a colleague, and he showed me a judge in the court of law, a female judge. And he said, yeah, by day she's a judge, but at night she has a rock band. And that really stayed with me. And I thought, you know what? If she can do it, I can do it. And that's what I want others to know. You don't have to be one thing. You can be an actress, you can be a singer, you can be a yoga instructor. And today you have to kind of, do different things in order to really thrive.
Right. You need a like this is the thing about these. I was in my former career, I was in very bureaucratic organizations and they
Hmm.
serve a purpose, but there's not always an outlet for creativity. And so I found that I was always searching for more in a different way. And the creative outlet is just so important to me. I was going to ask you another question about the the idea that um, I forgot. I forgot what I was going to say, but I've had memory impairment for long enough. I was going to ask you one other thing. Anyways, well, thank you so much. Where can people find you, by the way?
So my website is Carrie Simmons Official.com. So Carrie is Carrie, Simmons Simmons official.com. You can buy tickets on the website to my show at the Whisky A Go Go on August 29th. Doors open at 6. There's a great lineup. I go on at 8:30. So come hang out and have some fun. And it's really, such an incredible honor and privilege to still to be in the game because I mean, I was just watching this documentary, Matthew Perry, okay, and he never could fill that God-sized hole that he had, which is the addiction, with anything but a higher power. So I just want to encourage everyone to stay close to their higher power, whatever it is, the universe, the stars, God, and trust the process and have as much fun as you can while you're here on Earth.
Oh, one thing that's beautiful, by the way, but I was going to ask you, what kind of yoga do you practice? Kundalini?
I have done Kundalini. I had my own yoga studio, which was a Hatha Vinyasa flow. I got trained at the White Lotus Foundation up in Santa Barbara, and I just completed a Hot 8 yoga teacher training in Brentwood.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
But currently I'm just doing like yoga live sometimes, but I'm not teaching. I'm just partaking because I love learning. I love building my repertoire up to like different credentials and stuff. But I love all forms of yoga: Kundalini, hot yoga, and the Vinyasa flow.
Wow,
Hmm.
cool.
Do you do any yoga?
Um, when I lived in Alaska, I had a private yoga instructor who I'm still
Mhm.
friends with, but now I do bar. It's not,
Okay.
it's not as much, it's more like the postural yogas are interesting, but I'm now more into meditation and really working on the traditional yoga as it was meant to be. Not to say that postural yoga is problematic, but
Hmm. Hmm. Outstanding. Very good.
so well, I would love to have you back on, and I'm excited for your whiskey show.
Mhm.
So thank you for being here, and I will share this link with you as soon as I get it uploaded. So thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you, Jordan. You're great. It's
You're
so great.
welcome.
Thank you so much. Keep up your good work. You're doing good in this world.
Thank you.